Good day, everyone. We are the Group 5 and we are about to discuss the topic entitled Coordinating Activities and Work Relations in the Operations of an Enterprise. The members of this group consist of the following students: Miss Maria Regine Ann Badidles, Miss Delia Joy Tonido, Miss Armay Diaz, Miss Fatima Dukdukan, and yours truly, Miss Delca Joyce Fabian. The organization consists of several components, which are broad and complex. Hence, for carrying out its operations for achieving a balanced organizational performance, coordination is a necessary activity. Coordination is central to the very existence of an organization. It plays a fundamental role in the organization's operational activities. Coordination brings harmonious and united action to achieve the common organizational objectives. In the organization, activities of divisions, departments, and sections are required to be coordinated in order to derive the benefits of specialization and smooth operation. Different theories related to the organization are in several ways rooted in coordination benefits of hierarchical control relative to the market. The superior capacity of managerial hierarchies to efficiently coordinate transactions involving specific assets and synergic potential of coordinating multiple activities within the organization. Employees working in different divisions, departments, and sections are expected to contribute maximum efforts in the performance of their tasks, but to ensure that their efforts are not in conflict with each other, employees' activities are to be harmonized so that there is unity of action. The process by which the organizational management brings unity of action in the organization is called the coordination process.
Good day, everyone. I am Maria Regine Ann L. Badidles, and I'm going to tackle about purpose of plans. Purpose of plans. A work plan is a written document designed to streamline project. The purpose is to create a visual reference for the goal, objectives, tasks, and team members who are responsible for each area. Every member of your team should be updated based on the progress and the current status. Work planning is a process of determining what an office intends to carry out for the team of a work cycle. Work plans should be constructed within the guidance and focus of the strategic plan and should contain an operational details that illustrate exactly what services will be delivered and to what level of quality. Planning is an essential part of every business, whether that is in form of laying out a strategic framework or making contingency plans for emergencies. Organizations that are not well planned may be faced with serious consequences. There are four main plans that are strategic, tactical, operational, and contingency. Types of work plans. Types of plans in business and management depend on the factors such as organizational activities, time frame, specificity, and frequency of the plans. The most popular way to describe types of plans is by their breadth. Business plans can also be classified in terms of their time frame, specificity, and frequency. The various types of plans are as follows. Based on breadth. A. The strategic plan. Strategic planning is a management process for defining a company's long-term vision, directions, and actions. It is a strategy to figure out what potential business opportunity exists for the company. It helps you align different initiatives and get people focused on a single goal. A good example of strategic planning is when an organization wants to expand their business globally. They will first need to define their current situation, which might include mapping out all their resources, setting goals for what they want to achieve, and assessing how much resources are available in various regions. Once they have all these informations, they can then create a map of where they want to expand and what steps need to be taken in order for them to get there. Letter B, operational plans. Operational planning focused on day-to-day issues such as staffing levels or inventory quantities. Operational level includes more detailed objectives with concrete deadlines and task assignments. Operational planning starts with identifying what needs to be done, then organizing these into chronological order. This means that it is necessary to know how long each task will take, and how much staff, equipment, material will be needed for each task. In order to do this, the organization needs to take into account four key factors. Number 1 is the current demand, the current supply, the forecast demand, and the forecast supply. Operation planning can be broken up into two categories: the ongoing plans and the single plans. Next is the tactical plan. Tactical planning is used to reach the goals set out by the strategic and operational planning. Tactical planning includes short-term objectives and tasks designed to create a specific results with a limited time span. Tactical plans often include operational levels and make way for the development of contingency level plans. Tactical plans are about what is going to happen. The story said, basically at the tactical level, there are many focused, specific, and short-term plans, where the actual work is being done, and the support the higher level strategic plans. Tactical planning could be applied to a company's marketing by considering what content to create, who its target demographic is, and how to reach them. For example, a company may decide that they want to create a piece of content on a specific topic or theme for an event. The next step would be figuring out which type of content they want to produce: written blog, video, email campaign, and then deciding who their target audience is and how will they reach them, topics on the social media or through target ads. Lastly is the contingency plan. Contingency plans are made when something unexpected happens or when something needs to be changed. Business experts sometimes refer to this plan as a special type of planning. Contingency planning can be helpful in circumstances that call for a change. Although managers should anticipate changes when engaged in any of the primary types of planning, contingency planning is an essential moment when can be foreseen. As the business world becomes more complicated, contingency planning becomes more important to engage and understand. The next type is the based on time frame. First is the long-term plan. The long-term planning includes strategic goals and plans and may extend as far as 3 to 5 years into the future. Top management is involved in the formulation of long-term plans. For example, the expansion of location, opening new branch offices, entering into a new market, investment in the stock, bonds, and assets. Next is the intermediate term plan. Intermediate term planning includes tactical objectives and has a time horizon of from 1 to 2 years. Middle-level managers are involved in the intermediate term plan and they report to top management before the implementation of these plans. For example, the product development, plans to increase market share, changes in annual contracts. Next is the short-term plan. Short-term planning includes operational objectives for specific departments and individuals. These plans are created by supervisors and team leaders, and they have to report the manager of their department. Short-term plan has time period of 3 to 6 or within a year. For example, plans for increased month's revenue, hiring a new employees for the company, and development programs for employees, and allocating monthly goals to employees. Next is the based on specificity. So we have two types. First is the directional plan. Directional plan are flexible plans that set out general guidelines. Such plans are preferable in dynamic environment where management must be flexible in order to respond to unexpected changes. For example, the sales manager provides a guideline to his subordinates to the expected target, and now how two subordinates will achieve that, it's up to them. They are free to opt of many mode of practice. Hence, we can say that the directional plans are outcome focused. Next is the specific plan. Those plans which are clearly defined objectives and leave no room for interpretation are called specific plans. Such plans require specific stated objective and do not contain ambiguity. For example, the production manager briefing the plan to his subcoordinates and to what, when, where, how much, and by whom tasks will be performed. Hence, we can say that the specific plans are process focused. So the last type of plan is the based on frequency. So first we have standing plan. Standing plans are ongoing plans because they focus on organizational situations that occurred repeatedly. So standing plans includes policies, standard procedures, rules and regulations of the organization. Ongoing plans are procedures that are developed to create a routine within a department, such as taking inventory or filling out status reports. For example, rules and policies of organizations are a good example of the standing plan because it provides the guidelines for the course of action taken in the company to achieve the organizational goal. All members need to strictly follow these guidelines all the time. So last, we have the single-use plan. Single-use plans applies to activities that do not recur or repeat at the same time in the future. A one-time plan that is relevant for a specific time and after the lapse of that time. These plans are formulated again according to the situation for the next period. Single-use plans are procedures that are designed to be used once, while parts of these single-use plans can be repeated in future projects. The main characteristic of a single-use plan is that it is used to complete an individual project. For example, single-use plans typically include organizational programs, projects, and budgets. A budget is also a single-use plan because it predicts sources and amount of income and how much they are used for specific projects. Another example of a single-use plan would be a holiday marketing campaign or a product launch party.
Case to planning. The planning environment. Before you begin the planning process, you need to create the proper environment within the business. This will increase your chances of having a productive planning effort. First, create a culture within the organization that is open to planning. It is easy for management to focus all of their attention on day-to-day management and forget about the long-term direction of the business. After a while, this becomes ingrained in the culture of the business. Once this occurs, it is difficult to change. So, a special effort may be needed by top management to change the attitudes within the organization. Second, involve all management personnel. It is often believed that planning is a business function separate from management. However, to be successful, all management personnel need to be involved in planning. Involving management personnel is the way to create ownership and commitment to the plan and its implementation. Companies often delegate planning to a planner, an individual who is responsible for creating the plan. But management, especially top management, needs to feel responsible for planning. Lastly, remember customer needs. During the planning process, it is easy to focus on matters internal to the organization and forget the customer. Remember, satisfying customer wants and needs is the reason the business exists. The planning process.
Once you have created the proper planning environment, you need to focus on the planning process. First, focus the plan on goals. The purpose of the plan is to achieve the goals of the business and help reach its vision and mission. A first step is to re-examine the business mission statement and the goals associated with it. Without goals, planning is meaningless. The planning process often gets consumed by busy work, collecting data, writing reports, etc. Although these functions are important, it is often easy to use them to distract you from the hard choices involved in deciding the future direction of your business. Second, set realistic deadline. Setting a time deadline for the first draft of the plan is important. It forces management to move forward on the planning process. However, expecting too much to be done in too short of a time period usually leads to a poorly drafted plan. Third, provide sufficient time and money for planning process. Planning is often entered into half-heartedly. It is often underfunded with insufficient managerial time allocated to it. Fourth, make good assumptions about the industry and market environment. The business will be operating in an industry and market environment. It is important that you truly understand these environments. The assumptions you make about these environments are important for the success of the business. Lastly, focus on result. To be successful, planners need to proceed through the various steps of the planning process. During every step of the process, planners need to focus on the expected results of the planning process. Implementing the plan. Once you have gone through the planning process and created a plan, the hard part begins, implementing the plan. Don't forget the reason you decided to plan. First, reward implementation. Without proper implementation, planning is meaningless. As with planning, implementation should involve all of the management personnel. Also, for those charged with the leading or directing implementation, there should be a reward or incentive built into the proper completion of the implementing phase. Second, include evaluation procedures in the plan. A plan should be evaluated as it is being implemented. Do not wait until implementation is over. Evaluation procedures should be built into various stages of the implementation process and should be used to measure performance. Third, the plan is a living document, so revise it regularly as needed. Business leaders often believe that a plan cannot be changed once it has been put in a place, or at least until the next planning period. Although a plan should not be changed previously, it needs to be modified and updated when appropriate. As the plan is being implemented, it is not uncommon to uncover deficiency in the plan. Also, over a planning period, things change. Lastly, the plan will not solve all of your problems. Planning is not a magic bullet for curing what ails you. Proper planning is necessary for business success. However, it is just one of the ingredients needed for your success. That's all with my part. Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. I am Army Diaz, and my report for today will be all about the planning and prioritizing in changing environment. So, prioritization and planning are two sides of the same coin. Planning is thinking about the tasks required to achieve the desired goal on some skills, while prioritization is ensuring that you are doing the right task. Planning and prioritization are two of the best skills a manager can have. They ensure good use of your own efforts and those of your team. So, prioritization is making the best use of your limited time and resources when demands are seemingly limitless. So, prioritization in principle means doing first things first. As a process, it means evaluating a group of items and ranking them in order of importance and urgency according to Business Dictionary. So, by planning ahead, you are in the best position to adjust priorities. Proper planning is building enough room into your plans for additional demands. New demands may pop up and they may also be important, but adjusting priorities is a commonplace. you should always assume that there will always be unexpected requests. Set aside time for them. As long as they are important tasks that brings you closer to your goal, they must be done. So here are the 10 tips to manage a change in priorities. While it is important to keep work on schedule, it can be overwhelming when you're assigned to new priorities on top of the deadlines that you're already rushing to meet. Of course, di ba, nagkakalisang nakita kung sugad ito. For example, kung naging mukatan module, mga sugad ito, di ba, iba-iba na deadlines. So, how are you going to handle the change in priorities without compromising the flow of your change initiatives and projects? Okay, so you can make it easier by following these 10 steps that I am going to mention. So first, number 1, we have analyze the change strategy. So this involve asking a few questions that will bring the entire change strategy into focus, starting with the why. So, why are we changing and what exactly is driving it? Next is how. How does the change align with the organization's overall objectives? Who initiated the change and what's their vision for the organization once the change is completed? With this information, you'll have a better handle on what the change will mean for your company and be able to prioritize tasks more efficiently. Number 2, assess the task priority. Now that you know more about change, you can begin to analyze on a deeper level. For example, determine if it's critical or important or nice to have. Also, is it important to one person but a simple and nice to have for others? Keep an open line for communication with your manager and team. Number 3, organize your current task. So have a good look at your current list of initiatives. Before you shift priorities, determine what the impact will be on either the scope of work, schedule, or budget. In addition, the hours needed to complete each task. Not everything can be priority, so move less critical tasks to a lower place on the list. Number 4, be open to change. It might sound right, but the idea of being open to change needs reinforcing. When disruption in priorities happen, of course, this is very common, nananabo talaga siya. So, when this occur, you have a choice to either embrace it or be closed off. It's always better to accept the challenge and step into it rather than not, diba? It's okay to be a little skeptical at first and your initial reaction might be negative. Well, I am also like that, but once I get my questions and concern answered, I step into the change quite easily. If I can do it, then so will you. Number 5, we have focus on what you can control. As David Rock notes in his book, Your Brain at Work, when priorities change, you should focus which portion of your work you can control only, di ba? You'll stay productive kasi by knowing exactly what you have influence and control over, so you don't waste time in work that is out of your control. Para wala may nakakarag na oras. Kung ano lating kaya, nga very confident ka, nga ka mag-focus kaysa pagiging complicated mo pangatanan. So moving on, we have number 6, manage your energy. Everyone is different, of course. Some people like sugada iyo have their high energy time first thing in the morning, and mga morning person, mga productive ito nga time. But some of the other people naman, per sa akon, bagat nagkaka-energy ako during mga kaumagahon kay amo na tiya mamingaw. So, ang point hini kay you should schedule your most difficult task at that time para mas may productive ka. Number 7, ask for help. Reach out to the person you report to if you need help prioritizing your task. Seeking out direction isn't a show of weakness, of course, but rather demonstrates that you're thinking at strategic level and not just completing tasks. Number 8, follow up. Once you've reshifted your priorities, follow up with the person making the changes and get approval on your new priority list. para ma-confirm. So you can say something like, I'm happy to make the change and this is the impact on my other work. Are you okay with it? Are you okay with that? 'Di ba? There may be other organizational changes and initiatives happening at the same time that you aren't aware of para ma-check liwat niya iya side if goods bad tumatanan or dere para as much as possible maayos dayon. Additionally, the person creating the change might not be aware of the impacts at the detailed level like you are. Of course, kay ito nagtatrabaho, they'll want to know the consequences of any shifts in priorities so projects moves forward as smoothly as possible. Number 9, manage expectation. By this, I mean managing expectation of both others and yourself, of course. If there's one rule I've discovered about the plans is that they never go according to plan. Be prepared to be unprepared. Di ba? May mga bagat unusual na kukuanin mo pag may plano ka na. And help others through those difficult times as well. Think about how your organizational structure handles changes initiative. It won't do you any good to get frustrated if you feel that things don't move fast enough, or if your work in an organization that is slow moving and requires a lot of approvals, sign-offs, or other red tape. Process that legitimately get work done. Go with the flow and pitch in if there's anything you can do to help the wheels turn a little faster. Number 10, the last but not the least, is encouraging information sharing. So, you don't have to reinvent the wheel to get things done. Ask if there's a technology that could help your team with a new project. Like, determine if there are common elements you could use from one initiative and transfer to another. Talk to your internal, external, formal or informal networks. They will likely love to share experiences, so workarounds or ideas to help you and your team reach your goals. Managing priorities takes skills, patience, discipline, and willingness to be flexible and adaptable. By knowing when to ask help when you're unsure to what you will prioritize or deprioritize, you'll be able to differentiate between daily versus important versus urgent tasks. Always remember, managing priorities is supposed to create success, not stress. So that is all for my part. Let's hear the next reporter, which is Miss Fatima Dukdukan. Thank you.
So, good day everyone. My name is Fatima Rosan Dukdukan. I'm going to discuss to you about the identification and incorporation of training and learning opportunities. So, an article published by Forbes states that employee retention, productivity, creativity, and motivation will all improve for organizations who provide the right employee training opportunities. So, in line with this, employee training and development is also an essential part of growing a positive company culture, which naturally encourages employees to stick around. So, training needs analysis is a process which helps the organizations review the state of their training. This helps the organization determine all the training that needs to be completed in a certain period to allow their team to complete their job as effective as possible. So there are 7 steps for identifying the training needs of your employees. Number 1 is set clear expectations for each role. To identify employee training and development needs, you must first set clear expectations for each role within your business. So this creates a benchmark to monitor performance against. Review job descriptions when new positions are created or when making substantial changes for existing roles. So remember to periodically account for smaller changes as well. Doing this makes it easier to understand what skills an employee needs if they are to be successful in each role. And in turn, this helps you identify skills gaps and potential training and development needs. Number 2 is monitor employee performance. So measuring and monitoring performance should be embraced as a means of supporting employees, so not penalizing them, and can be a valuable tool in identifying development opportunities. So, set clear goals for employees and respond to performance blips on an individual basis. Understanding why performance is off killer puts you in a better position to respond positively and offer appropriate training. So, conversely, if an employee continuously over delivers, you could work with them to set more challenging goals to stretch their abilities. So, on number 3 is ask away. Now, this may seem obvious, but employee feedback can be a valuable addition to your SME's training and development plan. So, instead of traditional employee surveys, use focused employee evaluation to encourage honest and open feedback. So, this will create helpful dialogue about career development and help you identify specific employee training requirements. So, you don't need to set up special meetings, so use regular one-to-ones or performance reviews for open conversations and honest feedback. A simple way to do this is to ask employees to rate their job satisfaction and performance and then ask them what would make it better. So also ask them to comment on your current training and development program and to understand whether it's supporting their career goals. So next is number 4, analysis. You already have your SME strategies and goals set up. So complement this with an analysis of the work that delivers these goals. So this should help you identify employee training and development needs that are specific to each team and job. Tapping into what's going on under the surface will help you spot gaps in your training and development schedule. So it's likely that training and development needs will fall into 3 categories. Number 1 is improving staff knowledge about your industry. Number 2 is job-related needs. And lastly, personal development. Next is on number 5, make the most of personal development plans. So, giving employees the opportunity to lead their personal development can have a profound effect on their motivation and their engagement in your business. A well-managed personal development plans improve communication and will also help you identify any relevant training and development needs. Use cloud-based HR software such as a Brief. This way, both the employee and their manager can easily stay on top of objectives and performance. Number 6 is use focus groups to understand employee training and development needs. So focus groups are a useful tool to help you identify training and development needs within your business. So a focus group looks at a cross-section of employees within your business under the guidance of an expert facilitator. They are a useful way of gathering employees' views and opinions about current training and how to improve what is on offer. Focus groups also help demonstrate that you are genuinely interested in your employees' opinion. Lastly, on number 7 is set up a system of monitoring and coaching. Closely aligning staff with a mentor will help develop skills while identifying additional employee training and development needs. Monitoring programs are a great way of helping employees succeed in their careers and can be as powerful for the mentors as they are for the mentees. So there's also ways to incorporate employee development into the company culture. Number 1 is establish formal or informal mentoring programs. Next is get managers involved with coaching employees. Allow extra day off, especially for development purposes such as seminars, webinars, or conferences. Provide employees with membership to industry-relevant organizations. Give tuition reimbursement for non-work sponsored training, courses, or degree programs. Next is provide opportunities for cross-training on the job. Implement a formal development program with milestones and develop plans, complete with employee career paths, individuals' customized development goals. Next is allow employees to have good work-life balance. Doing so not only allows development pursue, but also improves retention in general. Next is create and provide self-paced online training options, sponsor and structure lead training sessions, and lastly, have clear training needs associated with advancement to specific roles. That's all for my part. Next to report is Miss Fabian.
Handling problems in the workplace. Good relationships with the people in your workplace can be one of the pleasures of having a job. On the other hand, facing unresolved people problems at work day after day can make you feel like quitting. Like the relationships in the other parts of your life, your connections with coworkers, supervisors, and clients are probably complex. So any problem you may be having in a work relationship will likely be complicated too. Your chances of finding an effective solution will be much higher if you approach a situation with a positive attitude. So here are the 7 steps for an effective problem-solving process. First, identify the issues. Be clear about what the problem is. Remember that different people may have different views of what the issues are. Separate the listing of issues from the identification of interest. Second, understand everyone's interests. Interests are the needs that you want satisfied by any given solution. We often ignore our true interests as we become attached to one particular solution. The best solution is the one that satisfies everyone's interests. This is the time for active listening. Put down your differences for a while and listen to each other with the intention to understand. Separate the naming of interest by listing of solutions. Number 3. List the possible solutions. This is the time to do some brainstorming. There may be lots of room for creativity. Separate the listing of options from the evaluation of the options. Fourth, evaluate the options. What are the pluses and minuses? And separate the evaluation of options from the selection of options. Fifth, select an option or options. In that pool of choices, what's the best option in the balance? Is there a way to bundle a number of options together for a more satisfactory solution? Sixth, document the agreements. We should not rely on memory. Writing it down will help you think through all the details and implications. And seventh, agree on contingencies, monitoring, and evaluation. Conditions may change. Make contingency agreements about foreseeable future circumstances. And ask the question, how will you monitor compliance and follow through? Create opportunities to evaluate the agreements and their implementation. Effective problem solving does not take time and attention, more of the latter than the former. But less time and attention than is required by a problem not well solved. What it really takes is a willingness to slow down. A problem is like a curve in the road. Take it right and you'll find yourself in a good shape for the straightaway that follows. Take it too fast and you may not be in as good shape. Working through this process is not always a strictly linear exercise. You may have to cycle back to an earlier step. For example, if you're having trouble selecting an option, you may have to go back to thinking about the interests. So that's all for our report, guys. Hope that you learned something, and if you have any questions, you can ask